Welcome. I'm Charlie at My Messy Fingers, and we are playing with a new album. It is Ciao Paris Je t'aime. Je t'aime. I had to look that up and listen to it several times. I'm still not sure I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Paris I Love You. So this is what I have so far is I wanted this as a symbol of Paris. And I wanted this on the front of the album. So I've cut the paper accordingly. This album is going to measure 9 by 9. And I have taken one of many elements that are available in the paper collection that you can cut out and put on the front of this. This is actually, I do believe, a card that I cut apart, tore it apart, because I wanted this image. I wanted this image because there is a bridge railing back here, and I wanted this to look like they were standing at the bridge with this behind them. So I've got them popped up, and then I have off of the front of one of the main papers, and I never have this ready. Hold on. It's this one. This sheet here that has the name of the paper on it by Ciao, the back side of this are letters. I rarely use these, so I have cut this out, backed it on black cardstock, and I've popped it up, and I'm going to put it right here. Now there is a sheet of roses, a plethora of roses, and on the reverse side is this, I do believe it's called damask. I went ahead and cut several rose figures. There are 2 stems, there's some smaller buds, and then I cut 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roses to cascade up along the side of this. There's enough red in this album. I chose purposely not to use any red for the backdrop or for cutting and labeling. I'm going to stick with black and white. I'm going to go more for a tuxedo look because Paris to me is that. And then I have this beautiful black and checkered ribbon that's in my stash that I'm going to use because it stays within the theme. I'm using the big red damask here on the back. And then off of this piece, there's a 4-inch piece or so that got cut off here. It's this piece. In fact, this piece of the rose is what fits right here. And this ink or this wax seal is this right here. So I've just simply cut a piece off, and that's going to act as the spine, kind of carrying through the theme of this front of this paper. So I've done the album in black. I am going to back it in white, and this is kind of going to be the theme that I think I'm going to do throughout the album. Again, staying away from red. To be honest here, I've got to tell you, I have a lot of red in my stock because I play with a lot of albums. And it was extremely hard to find a red that didn't have a pink hue, an orange hue, or was too bright, or more of a burgundy hue to it. So that was another reason I'm staying away from red. I'm just going to use the black and white, what I call a tuxedo look. And that's what I'm going to do. So here we go. Let's work with the back of the album first. Then we're going to do the spine, and then we'll come and do the front because there's a lot of intricate pieces here. And I don't really want to tear this apart until I absolutely have to because it took me a little bit to get those labels on there. First thing I'm going to do is lay my ribbon. I have 2 strips of 20-inch ribbon, but I'm going to place about 1.5 inches or so here roughly in the middle of the book. So we'll have probably somewhere around 18 inches to work with. Now when you put your ribbon down, I'm going to give you a suggestion. Do not take the tape, do not bring your tape to the edge or any other means of putting your ribbon on if you're going to use ribbon, because the last thing you want to see is this ribbon moving around and you get to see the glue or the wax or the tape. So only bring what you need, what you're going to use, just within an 1/8 of an inch. I'll get it out here, yeah. 1/8 of an inch from the edge on both the front and the back. And then I'm just going to kind of burnish it in a little bit, and then while I'm here, I'm going to take some tape and I'm going to reinforce this edge because that ribbon's going to get a lot of work on it. And I'm going to do that over here as well. And then that way when it gets pulled back, it's pulling back on the tape and against the tape. And then we'll have the paper that will go down here. So that's kind of my mythology on that. All right, now let's get to the back. So you're going to want 2 pieces. Now, my measurements are always going to be different than yours. This album's 9 by 9, but by the time you get done wrapping, then you're adding a little bit of height and width because this paper went down. So I always cut to fit. I know what I want to see, so I will bring this up here. Boy, I got a ugly goober going on right there. What in the world? I wonder if it came off my trimmer because it wasn't there when I started. All right. Now, when I lay this down, then I'm going to put my paper on top of it with the same process in mind, as I just want to see a little bit of it. And I am off. I'm going to line this up. I've been learning to do a dry measure, a dry fit, and I can see that I am fairly narrow down here, but I'm not up here. So I'm going to just make a tick mark right there. Pardon the paper, or I mean the paper trimmer. Then I'm going to put this on my trimmer, and I'm lining up to this tick mark. So then when it comes down, it's taking off that extra. At least that's my intent. I must be picking up the goobers off of my desktop. Okay. Now here is the real struggle whenever making an album, and I just want to bring light to it because it's something that you're going to deal with on every album that you make. This is the spine. I think you can see that fairly well. You can see where the spine has been built, and you can see where the fold of the 2 panels are. When you fit this piece in, this is going to be wider than what you're allowing for here on the outside, and that's because that's the hinge of the chipboard. So don't try to cover that. You'll just be making a mess, and then your paper's not going to stick because it's constantly flexing. So just be comfortable with the fact that you're going to have a wider gap here at the hinge than you do on the rest of the way around. Now, if you want to, it's entirely up to you. You can cut and trim so it looks like this, so that you have that wide of an edge so that it balances. But I personally don't like this because when I look at an album, that's where my eye goes. It goes to this and this, rather than this being up here with just an ever so slight of the black showing through. Now my eye actually goes to the work, the art that you've created. If that makes any sense. So I'm going to go ahead and get the white put down. I might flip this because this side is just terribly dirty. And I don't like how that cuts. So I'm going to go to my big trimmer. I will be right back. I just want to clean this up just a smidgen. Just a smidgen. There we go. That means I might have to trim my paper too. But boy, I don't know what I got into. I really don't. So I'm going to end up turning it over. Now, I'm getting something from somewhere because I got smudges here, but that's going to get covered up. No big deal. All right, tape, 1/4 inch tape. I'm going to put it on this side. I have been playing with some black ink, so that very well could be, where did it go? Hold on here. I'm looking for something. Wow, I don't know what I did with it. It's my paper trimmer. All right, I seem a little bit of I wonder if it's on the floor. Hold on. Nope, I'm not seeing it. Okay, enough of messing around. We're just going to use a thumbnail. And then a couple down the center. And then I'm going to burnish. Now, I'm only going to pay attention to these 3 sides. I'm not going to care about the hinge. I just want to see a slight bit of black. There we go. And then I'll do a dry fit with the pattern paper. Because I did trim a little bit off, I don't know that it'll make much of a difference. Tuck that under, but I will do a dry fit before I put it on. Okay, so let's take a look here. Now I do have to trim this just a smidgen, not by very much, because I trimmed that side. So I'll be right back. I'm going to use my super sharp trimmer. Okay, and then this is going to go here. I want to put something on the back, but I want to wait until I get far enough into the album to see what sentiments or images that I'm going to have left. See on the, I love this. I love this pattern. I love the color, but the reverse side of it has all these images, but there's two. So if I don't cave and use the other one inside the album, I may use some of these images. We'll see. There's some decent images in the paper collection that I can play with and utilize. That is kind of bugging me. I don't know where my tear tool is. Okay, so let's set this in here, let's get it steady, and then I'll burnish in the tape. And I've also inked the edges. I've inked those in black. Again, because I just could not find the right red, and I think there's enough red in this collection. Let it stand out by itself. Don't complicate it or try to compete with another shade of red. I'm still looking around for that tape and tear tool. I do not understand where it went. Hold on. Oh gosh, there it is. I thought I looked over there, but apparently not good enough. I've gotten so used to having this. When I first got it, I thought, but many albums later, I'm addicted. There'll be a link for this down in the description. You can get it from Scrap and Create. It's on their website. Okay, so I am just going to very carefully center this. And this is a small enough piece, I am simply going to glue it in place. I love the background to this, so I know there's one more in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get this down. time to put this in place. And I have to always mark that it's the front piece and which end goes on top, because there's differences here in the measurement as you work around it. So I always mark so that I know I've got the right side up on the right side. Or I should say the right side up on the correct side. Okay, I'm going to take this off. It's more the floral arrangement than anything that I want to keep kind of in the same order, because I know where these two go. But I did not ink this piece. I got to playing with it, and I am using a, what am I using? I'm using a VersaFine Clair. It's a nice crisp black versus a distressed ink black. Okay, let's get these put out of the way so I don't get ink all over everything else. Okay, ta-da! So now let me just do a look-see here. Okay, so let's get some tape on this. See, I love the music notes on the other side of this. Okay, we'll just put a couple down here in the center so it's not popping up. Put that back where I need it so I can find it. Now I'm going to real quick go through the stack of papers and see if I can find just exactly where I pulled that image off of so that you will know. So give me just a moment here. It won't take too awfully long. I'm really sure it was one of the smaller cards. So it came off of this sheet, and unfortunately only have one of them. This came off like this, so it was the card that was up there in the corner, or maybe it came off like this. No, this white edge, this is going to go here. So it was the card that came up here that I cut apart. Now there are images in here, and if you'll bear with me, I will find them again here. Hold on. Let me rumble through here real fast again. I get complaints because people can't look for things, so I'm showing you. So here's this same image, but there is a big difference between it and this one. This one has some images in behind it, and there's some snowfall that's taking place, and then there's even a larger image down here. So if you want to use one of those, that's fine, but this has got like a snowfall effect on it, and again, I wanted this to be sitting in front of this, and I wanted it to look like that they were kissing at a bridge and that this was behind it. So that's my thought process on this. So I'm going to go ahead and take off the plethora of tape that I managed to put on the back of this and get it in place. Okay, so I want it to kind of cover this leg so that it looks like, and I'm kind of bringing it along the bottom edge, and then I'm going to put this in place. You know, if you search YouTube and you type in how to pronounce Paris, I love you in French, there is a video there of audio. I'm going to center it right above them, push it down. All right, now what I cut out, oh God, I'm going to mess them up here. I really wanted to keep them in order because I finally got a sequence that I liked. Okay, so there are two long stems on the sheet that has the roses. I cut both of those long stems out, and I want to stagger them. And then I have a rose petal that I'm going to arch, rose bud, I'm going to arch off to the right. And then this one I'm just going to kind of bring up here because it's also on an arch. I'm just going to try and straighten that out, put the arch down here. And then the roses, I took that one and I'm using it to kind of cover up that mess right there. And then we have this one, which is going to come in next. Now what I did was I inked all the edges and then I kind of curled them forward so that they would look like rose petals. This one with the leaves, I want here down here on the bottom. See, I told you I had this all lined out and it looked good, and then I had to go move it. See, that one's bigger, so I want the smaller one on top. And then I don't want all the roses going that way, so I'm going to turn it this way. This one a little bit more upright. And then we'll swing this one back this way. So it's not perfect, but that's what I'm doing, and it's utilizing the roses within the paper so that it matches the roses that we have throughout. So I am going to kind of try and leave everything in place, Put just a dollop of glue behind some of the key pieces so that I can get them kind of stuck where I want them. And I'm not gluing them entirely down because I don't want the petals to be flattened out. And then this last one. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I've got this taken some off already. I want to brighten this up a little bit. So I am going to use some silver gems. I'm going to put one down here. Oh, that was a big old circle. I didn't need to do that. They've got a tape backing, but I don't trust it, so I glue them in place. Come on, get in there. Okay, so that's placing 4. I don't want to do too much. I don't know if I want to put one in there. I'll see how I feel as it goes. All right, so this leaf is loose, which is fine. That's loose. Curl those up. Curl this up a little bit. Okay, so I think we have it. So this is the beginning of my version of Paris Je t'aime. I do think that's how it's pronounced. With a little bit of bling, the sides. I might add something here, but there we have it. I will see you on the next video. Bye-bye.